Hello again. I wonder if anybody can spot the odd man out in this list. Admiral Jellicoe, naval hero of the First World War. Admiral Beatty, the naval commander at the Battle of Jutland during the First World War. And John Chilembwe, a man who fought against his country during the First World War, chopped off an Englishman's head with an axe in front of his wife and children, before sticking the decapitated head on a pole and parading around with it. This is a tricky one, isn't it? I'll come back to this in a minute. There was a time in this country when Trafalgar Day on October the 21st was a big thing. We remembered Nelson's message, England expects that every man will do his duty. How absurdly old-fashioned. Imagine appealing to men's sense of duty in this modern world. Trafalgar Square commemorates that attitude, though, which is, of course, why Nelson's column is at the centre of it, and it is, too, why there are busts of Admiral Lord Jellicoe and Beatty. It is a place where we recall patriotism, and in particular our seagoing nation's history and bravery. There are other statues in Trafalgar Square as well, of patriotic men, soldiers and sailors who fought for the country. Then we have a statue of John Chilembwe from the former African nation of Nyasaland. In 1915, during the First World War, Chilembwe decided that killing all white people would be a good idea, and so incited a band of men to aid him in attacking several places, including a mission station where a girl was killed. A white family's home was then broken into, and the owner had his head chopped off in the presence of his wife and children. John Chilembwe then stuck the head on a pole and took it to a church, where he delivered a sermon to his followers, with the head on prominent display. Why anybody would think it at all appropriate to commemorate a man like this who launched an attack on British people during the First World War, I do not know. To have his statue on display next to that of Nelson and Jellicoe is appalling. In the description to this video, I give a link to the Wikipedia page about this dreadful man. Not to worry though, because Chilembwe's statue is soon to be removed. It will be replaced by some busts of transsexual prostitutes later this year, and then we are in for a real treat, because it seems that a statue of what is being described as a contemporary everywoman who represents the city's spirit will be going up on the plinth. This strange piece of art may be seen in the thumbnail to this video. I'm bound to say that rather than showing every woman, this looks to me like a grotesque and offensive caricature, and it reminds me of nothing so much as early 19th century cartoons of the so-called Hottentot Venus. Just look at the exaggerated buttocks and legs of this figure, and then see what a tiny head it has been given. A most peculiar way to represent every woman, I'm bound to say. Why anybody would think that this kind of thing should be standing next to figures such as Lord Napier and General Havelock, I cannot conceive. It is, of course, all down to the Mayor of London's office, which seemingly has a determination to erase anything which might be associated with England's past. Things such as the observance of Christian festivals, for instance. In the description to this video, I give a link to the web page of the Mayor of London's office, which tells us about events taking place in Trafalgar Square this year. We see the Sikh festival of Vaisakhi on April the 6th, followed by Eid in the Square on April the 20th to mark the end of Ramadan. What's missing from this picture, children? Well, on March the 29th, Good Friday, there is the traditional Passion Play in Trafalgar Square. This is a spectacular event with a cast of 100 and many live animals, culminating in a reenactment of the crucifixion. This is the Bible story of Jesus' trial and crucifixion. This brings huge crowds to the square, but the mayor's office won't even mention it. Why is that, do you think? Sikh festivals? Yes. Muslim festivals? Certainly. Christian festivals? Whoa, that's a step too far. I, I rather think that some of this might be nostalgia on my part. I remember the days when one could feed pigeons in Trafalgar Square and there was a man selling seed for that purpose. Of course, it was inevitable a law would be passed making it illegal to feed the pigeons, and it strikes me that this is when the place began to change for the worse. I somehow think that people are embarrassed today about the idea of an English hero, a man who talked about England expecting men to do their duty, and are puzzled that he's still at the heart of Trafalgar Square. These people feel that any way which can be found of blunting this image is all to the good. Erecting a statue to a man who fought against Britain in the First World War is one way of doing this, and another is trying to sidelight any overt acts of Christian faith.